So tonight is game one of the 2026 Stanley Cup Final. The Vegas Golden Knights, in just their 9th year as a franchise, are already in their 3rd Stanley Cup.
It's been that long. I thought they've only been around for like 5 years.
Nope. They came into the NHL in 2018.
I remember when they came in. I remember the controversy around Vegas getting the hockey team. Damn, am I getting old.
Yeah. And they immediately made it to the Stanley Cup Final
right.
and lost to the Washington Capitals.
Did they get to the 2nd year or the 3rd year?
No, they didn't make it back to the Stanley Cup until 2023.
Okay.
Where they beat the Florida Panthers in 5 games. And then on the other side, you have got the Carolina Hurricanes. This is the first time the Hurricanes have made the Stanley Cup Final in 20 years. They last made the final in 2006.
Well, hey, this is the first Knicks final since 1999, so they've waited longer.
Yeah. But this should be a really, really good series. I think these are the 2 best teams in the NHL. I mean, well, Vegas just swept the Colorado Avalanche, who were the President's Trophy winners.
Yeah.
What is Drake? Yeah, we already talked about that, Jesse. But this should be a great series. You got Jack Eichel, Ivan Barbashev, Mark Stone, Mitch Marner, who has come on like a bat out of hell. All he needed to do was get out of Toronto. And Carter Hart has been fantastic in goal for Vegas. And then on the other side, you got Andrei Svechnikov. You got Freddie Anderson in goal, Sebastian Aho, and others for Carolina. I would say Vegas has the advantage because a lot of the guys that are on this team were on the championship team in 2023. And I think Vegas is a little bit stronger going down the middle. If I had to make a prediction, I've got Vegas in 6. And I'm going to say the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, which doesn't just take the Stanley Cup Final into consideration. It's for all of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's got to be Mitch Marner. I wish the NHL would do what the NBA is doing. Like, put the Stanley Cup trophy behind the home team's logo at center ice. They used to have it that Stanley Cup Final was on the ice with the trophy on either end. They've stopped doing that. I hate it. Like, that's what makes the Stanley Cup Final so special. We talked about it with the NBA Finals. Like, them putting the Larry O'Brien trophy back at center court, having the words, the finals at either end of the court. It tells you this is different. Like, I want the same thing with the Stanley Cup. This is a matchup I didn't know I wanted, but I'm actually really excited for it. Game 1 starts in just like a half an hour or so. So after we get off this show, I'm heading down into my basement and I am going to watch game 1. So
and who has home ice? Is it Vegas?
Carolina.
Okay. See, my understanding is from the hockey people that I am friends with, not a lot of people are excited about this Stanley Cup because it's 2 warm cities.
Yes, because it's Vegas and Carolina. I would agree with you. I would agree with them on that one. I mean, Carolina is a favorite, at least for tonight. They are minus 162. Vegas is plus 136. Carolina is coming off beating Montreal in 5. Vegas, like I said, swept Colorado. Carolina has only lost 1 game throughout this entire Stanley Cup playoffs. They swept Ottawa. They swept Philadelphia. And the only game they lost was game 1 against Montreal.
And then they swept them.
They won the rest of the games.
Yes, after game 1, essentially, gentleman's sweep. I am shocked with, and I know obviously that they have the NBA Finals too, but ESPN has the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, and there is little to no promotion. I keep forgetting the NHL players are on it. And I thought NBC wasn't great at promoting it, but at least I knew it was on. Like I keep forgetting the NHL players are on because I barely see it promoted anywhere.
Yeah, with Carolina, I forgot about Taylor Hall. I forgot about Jackson Blake, Nicola Ehlers, Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho. Maybe I said him. Jordan Stahl, who won a Stanley Cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins way back in 2009. Jacob Slavin is still there. This is a really good Carolina team, and I'm proud of them for finally breaking through and getting past their Eastern Conference final demons, because they didn't have to deal with the Florida Panthers. They didn't have to deal with the Boston Bruins.
Or the Tampa Bay Lightning, because I know Florida went on order to run there where it was Tampa and then the regular Florida team.
Yes. So absolutely tune in for the Stanley Cup final. You know what's interesting is tonight is the Stanley Cup final, then tomorrow is the NBA Finals, and then it goes back to the Stanley Cup final. Which, like you said, every game is on ABC. Next year, the Stanley Cup final will be on TNT, so it alternates every year.
Which broadcast would you rather have?
Oh boy. I feel like TNT does a little bit better job with the NHL because they have Wayne Gretzky on there. They have Henrik Lundqvist on there. Paul Bissonnette, and others who who played the game, were great players. Wayne Gretzky, we know, the great one. Henrik Lundqvist is one of the greatest goaltenders of all time, without a doubt. I like TNT's coverage a little bit more, but ESPN does a fine job. I understand why, on shows like First Take and Get Up and others, they don't really get into hockey because,
Well, I understood it when they didn't have NHL rights, but now that they do, I thought they should at least cover. I mean, they don't even mention it. Barely at the end. It's like, who's winning tonight? Oh, this team.
Yeah, they have, Get Up has PK Subban on a little bit to talk about the NHL, but
I mean, I know McAfee talks about it, but McAfee's audience is a completely different audience than anybody.
Oh, I know. But I would absolutely tune in for the Stanley Cup final. They both won their divisions, although Vegas only had 39 wins. And you look over in the Eastern Conference, there were 4 or 5 teams who had more wins than Vegas, and yet they missed out on the Stanley Cup playoffs.